Okay, just a quick update on the mini quad project. Now, made a few tweaks since the last video. Been working with these motors as you've been following the thrust test, and this thing does really well. In the next video, I'm going to demonstrate this in the air, but just wanted to talk you through a couple things in this video before we follow up with a maiden flight. So I've gone ahead and added these rails along the arms, and that has provided a lot of reinforcement. So there are very little vibrations coming off these motors now, and this hovers without any sort of oscillation. And the other item is I've been working on a little camera mount or tray that will be able to hold this FPV camera securely in place. Now, what I'm uncertain about, this is I think it's 600 TV line Sony camera, and realize the dimensions of these board cameras can vary. So the plan is once we get through the maiden with FPV gear mounted, I'm going to post everything on Thingiverse, knowing that this is going to be a work in progress. And if you guys have any varying dimensions for your board cameras, you could probably come up with a design that's compatible with multiple board cameras, or just do a few different designs with some of the more popular ones. So let's talk FPV gear real quick. I receive a lot of questions asking about this Hobby King setup. Now, this is the TS351 transmitter and the RC305 receiver from Boscam. So I want to just show that real quick. We're running the whole system now off a 3S battery, so my plan is to run both the motors and the FPV gear off the same battery. Now, that's the initial plan. We'll see what kind of flight time I get, and if the flight time is poor, then I'll look into maybe a separate battery setup. So on the transmitter, we have the 3-lobe cloverleaf, and then on the receiving end, we have Zuki's helical antenna. Now, talked with Zuki yesterday. We're going to be doing this build video soon, so stay tuned. Wiring is really simple. You got power and ground connected to power and ground on our FPV camera. We have the 3S LiPo plugged into the JST connector, and we get 12 volts here, 12 volts over here, and then you'll notice in between the two, we have video out coming into the transmitter, and then ultimately transmitting over the air back to the receiver. Okay, so on the ground, we power the receiver with a 2S LiPo. Now, your input voltage may vary on your receiver, so some run off of 7, some run off of 12. Just make sure you check that. Then video out from the receiver into our LCD display. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. Now let's go ahead and power up our transmitter and camera together. You can see we have a signal over here now. If I remove that lens cap, and you can now see, get the mini quad in the picture. Everything looks to be wired up correctly. Transmitting antenna to Zuki's helical on the receiving side. So everything appears to be working well. Now, the only drawback when doing a 3D printed design like this is you don't have a PCB. Now, the QAV, TBS, and several others have, your printed circuit board built directly into the frame. So I don't have that. I have a little pigtail setup. So what I'm gonna have to do is splice into this to get power to both the transmitter and the camera. So a lot of power being drained at the same time from this little 3S battery, but we're gonna give it a try. Then I'll do some flight time measurements, and then we'll see how it is. So just wanted to share that update with you guys. Getting pretty close. I look forward to hopefully a successful maiden flight with FPV, and then I'll post all the files on Thingiverse, the build log on garagepilots.com, and we'll just continue to work to improve this over time. So until next time, thanks for watching.